I'm gonna be honest. At first, I was like, just give us another season of Wolverine and the X-Men. That was such a good X-Men animated series, and it got canceled way too soon. They left us off with a cliffhanger. We were going to get Age of Apocalypse storyline, but they canceled it. I wouldn't mind if they brought that show back. And then I said, well, if they're going to do an X-Men animated series, why don't they do a digital format? Y'all know the Star Wars show that aired on Cartoon Network, The Clone Wars? Imagine the X-Men in digital animation. I know that would have been successful because the X-Men in digital format looks so cool, especially when you're playing the video games. That would have been a nice show. But instead we got X-Men 97. Now at first, I had my reservations, you know. I was like, don't touch X-Men the animated series. We've been there, done that. Give us something new. Then they dropped that trailer and that one scene. When I tell y'all, I've been rewinding that one part of Gambit getting on top of Wolverine and charging his claws. That has never been done before. Like, that's never been done in any type of X-Men comic whatsoever. I have never seen that combination of Gambit and Wolverine working together like that. So I already know the creators of this show, oh, they being real creative. So I like where this is going. So for this video, and as y'all can see, I done whipped out my X-Men animated series shirt with Jean, Rogue, Storm, and Jubilee on it. This shirt is so beautiful. For this video, I will be discussing my expectations for X-Men 97. But before we go anywhere, theme song. I seen a comment saying if the series does not start with previously on X-Men, then throw the whole show away. I agree. We need that. We definitely need that. All right, so for this video, I'm going to break this down into 3 separate topics. 1, I'm going to be discussing the membership of the team. 2, I will be discussing potential storylines that I would like to see in this series. And 3, I would be addressing the non-authentic X-Men fans that believe there's a woke agenda. Yeah, we'll get into that. But first, let's talk about the actual team. All right, so they decided to add Morph, Bishop, and Sunspot to the team permanently. Now, here's the thing. In the original series, Nightcrawler, Psylocke, Archangel, Colossus, and Iceman, they all made cameo appearances in the episodes. So I just would have thought they would have taken at least one of those characters and add them to the team permanently, you know, because it was like, why did y'all introduce them? And this would have been a perfect opportunity to shake up the team's dynamic and add more unique and diverse powers to the X-Men team. But we got Bishop, Morph, and Sunspot. First of all, shout out to the diversity, because Bishop is one of the most notable black men characters of the X-Men, and Sunspot, he's Afro-Latino, so shout out to that. My thoughts with Bishop on the team, I absolutely love Bishop. A lot of people are complaining because they want the mullet back. I hate the mullet. Like, I like Bishop bald, or I like Bishop having locks, or I like Bishop with a fade, because they gave him a fade in the Marauders runoff series, and I absolutely love that. So I prefer Bishop to be bald, so I don't really miss the mullet. Don't bring it back. That's so 70s and 80s. My expectation for Bishop, I want this show to showcase his powers. Heavily showcase his powers. I think the best series to ever showcase Bishop's power set was Wolverine and the X-Men. That is my favorite adaptation of Bishop in any type of X-Men media. They did an amazing job showcasing his powers in that series. So I want the creators of X-Men 97 to take notes to how Bishop was in Wolverine and the X-Men. I need his powers to be showcased on full display. Yes, showcase his advanced weaponry, showcase his gun collection and everything. Make sure you highlight Bishop's power set. And now with Sunspot, I thought it was like extremely random for them to bring in Sunspot. Like, it's like, out of all characters, Sunspot? Because Sunspot, he's part of the New Mutant lineup. Cannonball, Wolfsbane, Magic, who is Colossus' sister, Danny Moonstar. He's part of that branch, you know what I'm saying? That's like the younger generation of X-Men. So them bringing on Sunspot, okay, like I'm not mad at it. I just thought it was really, really random. I'm pretty sure the reason why they did that is because they want to start trickling in the younger generation of the X-Men and the New Mutants format. Maybe they brought in Sunspot so him and Jubilee can be the anchors to bring on more of the New Mutants characters to the X-Men 97 universe. Who knows? Speaking of Jubilee, I'm glad she's back. I'm glad that they made her more Asian-like. Like, shout out to the animators. They did a really nice job in redesigning her character. And they said that the voice actor, they actually hired somebody from the Asian community to voice her. So, okay, it's a win for me. I'm excited to see what they do with Jubilee. I just want her to get out of that little girl format. Like, oh, I'm 8 years old, 9 years old, and I'm being around adults. Take this. Somebody help me. Like, I hope we get a more mature Jubilee. Still be a little girl, but still be like a teenage girl. You're not like a 10, 11, 12. I don't know how old she was in the original series, but I just want to see Jubilee be a little bit more mature. Back to Sunspot. For those who may not know, Sunspot has the ability to gain strength through the sun. Like, he literally is standing in front of the sun, absorbing the energy, and he uses the energy to fight physically, and he's strong. So very interesting power dynamic bringing on Sunspot. I'm not mad at it. It's just random, but I'm happy he's on the team. I still would have preferred Nightcrawler or Colossus or Iceman or Archangel, but I'll settle for Sunspot. I'm not a hater. Morph can go. I already said this on my last video regarding the X-Men. I don't like Morph. I think he's a waste of space. I don't know why they gave him a permanent spot on the team. I don't know why they're trying to expand his roles. I am not interested in Morph. I'm sorry. Mystique is holding a monopoly with shape-shifting mutants. As a matter of fact, Mystique holds a monopoly in my mind with shape-shifting characters. She's literally the only shapeshifter I care about, period. Everybody else, y'all are just not interesting. I don't need Morph on the team. I really don't. I wasn't a fan of him on the original series. When they killed him off in the first episode, I'm like, okay, bye. And then when they brought him back being Mr. Sinister and he was causing all this chaos and drama, and then he was always whining like, you guys left me for dead, blah, blah, blah. Mr. Sinister screwed with my mind, blah, blah. I really don't care. I'm not a fan of Morph. I've never been a fan of Morph. And like I said, his characterization in the comic books is damn near non-existent. He was originally known as Changeling with that goofy ass costume, and his role was to be Xavier while Xavier was on a secret space mission. Then he got killed off and we never seen Morph again until they brought him back in the Exile comics. I didn't read the Exile comics. I don't care about Morph. And I think that particular Morph character was from the Age of Apocalypse storyline. I think they just brought him over to the 616 timeline. I don't care. I'm just not interested in seeing Morph. Maybe if I actually watch the episodes, I can have a little bit more grace for Morph. But right now, I don't care. I just don't care. So, Morph. Let's move on. Magneto is on the team. It was revealed at the end of the trailer that Magneto is a team member of the X-Men. Now, this may be a shocking revelation to a lot of y'all, but it's not shocking to me because when I started reading X-Men comic books, I think I was in the 5th grade or 6th grade, Magneto was a part of the X-Men. This right here, I said it before, I said it again, this was my very first X-Men comic, and following suit, this one, and this one. Like I said, they were out of order, but it is what it is. With all of these X-Men comics, Magneto was a part of the X-Men. There was no Charles Xavier. Charles Xavier was, again, in Shi'ar space. He was assumed to be dead, but Charles Xavier was in Shi'ar space. Magneto was a part of the X-Men. It's not a surprise. People believe that Magneto is the X-Men #1 villain. No, the X-Men's #1 villain are human beings, and we'll touch on that later on. But Magneto is part of the X-Men. He is not a villain. Once again, Magneto has different views from the X-Men. Simple. The X-Men, their ideology is based off of Charles Xavier. Protect those that hate and fear us. Magneto's like, we ain't protecting nobody. We are the dominant species. We can use our power to take over the world, and we're not bowing down to no mankind. Two opposing views. But Magneto is not a villain. So him being on the X-Men is only right. Now, as far as this show, them adding Magneto to the show is definitely going to give us a lot of drama. I know Scott and Magneto, they're going to get into it. I know Wolverine and Magneto, they're definitely going to get into it. Wolverine, y'all know how Wolverine is. He don't give a about anybody, and if he don't trust you, oh, it's up and it's stuck from there. So I know they gonna be butting heads like crazy. I think Storm and Magneto, I think they're gonna have opposing views, but I don't think they're gonna like get into it as far as like Cyclops and Magneto. I really think Storm and Magneto, they're gonna develop a mutual respect for each other. And the only reason why I said that is because when Magneto was a part of the X-Men, Storm was the leader of the X-Men. Cyclops was on the X-Factor team, and Magneto respected Storm's authority. Like, there was this one mission. She took all the X-Men and she took Magic, who is Colossus' sister, and they had to go on a mission. And she told Magneto, I need you to stay behind and defend the school because you are the most powerful mutant in our range. Storm did not have her powers at that time. You are the most powerful mutant in our range. If there's any type of threat and they bring it to the Institute, you can hold your own and defend the children that are there. Magneto in his head was like, damn, that makes so much sense. I want to go because I want action, but I'm going to respect Storm. So with that being said, I don't think Storm and Magneto, they're not going to get into it like that. Now, what I'm curious to see, how Rogue and Magneto's relationship will play out and how Magneto's and Gambit's relationship is going to play out. Why? Because Rogue and Magneto, they had a little fling. Very random. But yeah, they had a little fling once upon a time. So I wonder if the creators are going to tap into that so they can create some drama between Gambit, Rogue, and Magneto. I don't know. But we'll see how things go. All right, leader of the X-Men, my boy Scott Summers. Okay. I am so excited to see Scott in a leadership role outside of Xavier because that is the Scott that I know. Scott leading the X-Men, it was no Xavier. It was him on his own making decisions for the betterment of mutant kind. He didn't seek approval from Xavier or Magneto. No, he did his job, and his job 9 times out of 10 was for the betterment of the mutant community. Of the mutants, they've been through a lot. They went through a whole genocide in the city of Jamosha. They went through a whole dissemination with Scarlet Witch eliminating the X gene. Cyclops had to make decisions in order to keep the mutant species alive, and I think he did an amazing job. So I'm excited to see that Scott Summers be in X-Men 97, and I know we're going to see that Scott Summers because when he said to me, my X-Men, I was like, oh, you better go, boy. Come on, Scott. I'm so excited to see Scott because Scott has had a horrible portrayal in X-Men media. Horrible, all right? All of the X-Men movies, they did a terrible job representing the Scott Summers that we know, that us X-Men comic book readers, we know about Scott. They did a horrible job, and this is the perfect opportunity to rebrand all of the X-Men into all the minds of the people that are not X-Men fans because everybody believed that the X-Men is only about Wolverine. No. Absolutely not. Scott Summers, I want him to be in the forefront. I want him to be unapologetically, I almost said unapologetically black. Ha! I'm tripping. Unapologetic about his leadership and the actions that he take. I don't give a damn if Wolverine disagrees with his leadership. I don't care if Magneto disagrees with his leadership. I don't care if Storm disagrees with his leadership. I want Scott to be in his role. Nobody questions his authority, and whatever he says goes. I'm ready to see Scott Summers in this series. Now, the only thing I want eliminated regarding Scott Summers in X-Men 97, the dramatics. I don't want to hear this back and forth between Scott and Jean hollering at each other's name on every single field mission that they are on.
Scott! Jean! Scott! Jean! Scott! Jean! Scott! Jean! Scott! Jean?
Please leave the dramatics at the house. Like, let's just do the mission. I don't need y'all hollering each other's name every 5 damn seconds. Come on now. And next up, speaking of, is Jean Grey. Now, Jean is pregnant in this series. Now, of course, Ed's Twitter is buzzing because they're like, is that Jean or is it Madeline Pryor? For those who did not know, because they did say Mr. Sinister is going to be a main villain in the X-Men 97. Madeline Pryor is a clone of Jean Grey created by Mr. Sinister. And Sinister's intention was to use Madeline Pryor to procreate with Scott Summers. So whatever baby they have, he can manipulate their genetics and make them a powerful mutant. So they're assuming that that's Madeline Pryor. I hope it's not. I would expect Madeline to make an appearance, but as far as the procreation storyline, no, let Cyclops and Jean actually have a child together. Now, we don't know who this child is going to be because they do have a daughter together, Rachel Grey, but that is from an alternate timeline. Scott has Cable, but Cable is the child of Cyclops and Madeline Pryor. And then there's Nate Grey. So I don't know who this baby is going to be. I don't know what direction they're going to take. Maybe they can add a big plot twist and let the child that they have together be Hope Summers. Who knows? We'll see. With Jean being pregnant, this is why I said they should have added Psylocke to the team, because the X-Men need a field telepath. Professor Xavier is nowhere to be found in this series, and Jean is pregnant. Now, Jean can do work from the X-Men, sure, but as far as on the team, usually X-Men teams have telepaths. You're either going to have Jean, Emma Frost, Psylocke, Rachel, or Quentin Quagmire, or in the Crocera era, you know, Exodus, or I don't think Sinister went on any missions, or they can utilize, you know, Lady Mastermind, but her telepathy skills are piss poor, or the Stepford Cuckoos. Usually, X-Men teams have a telepath. It is the standard of how the X-Men run their missions, because telepathy is important. They don't rely on communication devices. Maybe they can rely on communication technology through Bishop, because Bishop is from the future, so his tech is high advanced, but the X-Men are known for having telepaths on their team. So Psylocke being on the team while Jean is on maternity leave makes sense, but we'll see how things play out. I'm pretty sure we're going to get some episodes of Jean actually being an active team member before she confirms that she is pregnant. Now, here's the thing. Well, first of all, let me say this. I love the fact that they allow Jean to wear her hair down. I hated that ponytail. I don't know why I hated the ponytail. I just hated the ponytail. What's important is this. Jean, you are an Omega level mutant. Do not come in this series and act like you don't know how to use your powers. Boy, they, in the original series of X-Men, the animated series, Jean Grey was horrible. Oh my God. Every time she would use any type of power she would have, the bitch would be fainting.
Jean! Jean!
The bitch would be moaning like she's having an orgasm. Jean would be screaming Cyclops' name every 5 seconds.
Scott!
We not doing this. We not doing this. Y'all make Jean Grey great again. I'm so serious. I am so serious. Y'all have to restore Jean's honor in this series, because the original animated series, it was horrible. Jean is an Omega level mutant. Her powers are telepathy. Her powers are telekinesis. So we need to see that. I don't need to see Jean passing out because she can't lift up the Blackbird. Bitch, yes you can. Yes, you can. And you don't need the Phoenix Force to do it either. act like you got some damn sense and know how to use your powers. I don't want to see Jean passing out because she can't levitate a single guy across the room. Jean, I need you to clock in and act like you got some sense and learn how to use your powers. And by the way, I don't want to see any Phoenix in this. No, I don't want to see any Phoenix fire and everything. Let Jean Grey be a bad bitch without the Phoenix. We don't need the Phoenix every time we have Jean. It is such an overly done story concept, and I'm about tired of it. It's like, can y'all think of something else? Can we do something else more interesting involving Jean without bringing in the Phoenix? Like, come on, y'all. Next up is Storm. First off, who the decided to cut off Storm's hair? Why the does Storm have a mohawk? What the are we doing? No. Absolutely no. And I know some of y'all are saying, well, y'all do know that was a past character design. You know, Storm had a mohawk in the series. I know that. I know that. I know that. I know that. Again, when I first started reading the X-Men, Storm was the leader in the X-Men. She didn't have any powers, and she was rocking all leather with a mohawk. I hated it then. I hated it now. Why do I hate it? Because one of the illustrators that designed Storm in this era, it was revealed that his inspiration for Storm's look was Mr. T. Storm having a mohawk is rooted in masculinity. A black, dark-skinned woman designed with the inspiration of Mr. T. Now, mind you, these comics came out in like the 1980s. All you had to do was draw inspiration from any prominent black woman that was popular in the 80s. Cicely Tyson, Vanessa Calloway, Diana Ross, Donna Summers, Whitney Houston. The inspiration was there. So why, sir, did you decide to draw inspiration for a dark-skinned black woman character, one of the most famous and popular dark-skinned black women character? If I was to say off the top of the head, think of a black woman superhero, you are immediately going to think of Storm. Yes, you might say Photon because of the Marvels movie, but she's recent. She's real recent. Black woman superheroes, you're automatically going to think of Storm. She is like a monopoly to black women, and not only the X-Men, but the whole Marvel franchise, period. Storm is one of the most famous black woman superheroes ever. Do not design Storm's character off of a black man. What the are we doing? So that is why us Storm fans, we hate the mohawk. I don't want to see the mohawk at all. I don't know why the creators of the X-Men decided to give her a mohawk in this series. Season 2, because you know we are going to get a season 2 with X-Men 97. We're not playing with the series. We are not going to let the series flop. Season 2, give Storm her hair back. And I need illustrators, not just for this series, but I need illustrators across the cartoon and comic universe, period. I need you guys to learn how to do black characters' hair, especially black women, because it's no excuse in 2024. It's no excuse. Giving Storm a mohawk just means that you're absolutely lazy. And it's very inexcusable because if you are reading X-Men Red, look at Storm's hair currently. This is how she currently looks in the current comics. It is no excuse why you guys cannot design her hair just like it currently is in the comics. Damn. And even if you wanted to make it a little bit more modern, you can give Storm a haircut. You know, this is how she looked in the Chris Claremont run during the X-Men 90s series. But don't cut off her hair in a mohawk. Make it a bald mohawk. Don't do that. Don't do that. Like, we're not doing that. Y'all would never cut off Jean's hair. Y'all would never. If they ever decided to cut Emma Frost's hair off where she's bald, do y'all know the backlash Marvel Comics would receive? Storm needs to represent femininity. Just like how Jean does, just like how Rogue does, just like how Emma Frost does. She needs to represent being a feminine woman character. It's no secret that a woman's hair adds to their femininity. You taking away that from Storm, not okay. It's not okay whatsoever. Now, aside from Storm's appearance, my expectation for Storm, showcase how powerful Storm is. Get creative with her powers. Storm is an Omega level mutant. And when it comes to Storm being in these animated series, y'all always deduce her powers to lightning. She controls the weather. She controls the weather. Give us tornadoes, give us twisters, give us hurricanes, give us blizzards, give us hail. Give Storm the license to wreak havoc with the weather. Showcase how powerful Storm is. Stop just only showing lightning. I want this series to really showcase how powerful Storm is. That's my expectation for Storm. Also, I need a leadership equivalent to be split between Scott and Storm. Now, I want Scott to be the full main leadership of the X-Men, but I want Storm to lead field missions on her own so people can see that, oh yeah, Storm, she knows how to lead a team. Storm plays no games. She's actually one of the best X-Men leaders ever. I will always say, like, Scott is my favorite X-Men leader, but when I was growing up, reading the comics, Storm was leading the X-Men and she didn't even have any powers. She led the X-Men through various complicated situations and she did an amazing job. So I want to see Storm be an active leader on various missions. And also, this is just a personal preference, I would love to see Storm and Gambit have solo missions as a duo, you know, just the two of them, because they done that in the original series with Storm and Wolverine. Because I remember one of the episodes, it was like involving Omega Red. They had Storm and Wolverine pair up to complete the mission and defeating Omega Red. And they've done that with Storm and Cyclops. I remember when Corsair, he was trying to run away from the Shi'ar Empire. So they did a duo with Storm and Scott. I want that duo energy to be with Storm and Gambit. Why? Because for those of you that know, Storm is the reason why Gambit is a part of the X-Men. She got Gambit to be a part of the team. They have a history together, a good working relationship together, and I would love to see them play out. They both know how to pickpocket. They both know how to steal. They both know how to fight. Let us see it. Pair Storm and Gambit together, because that would be very interesting. That's my expectations with Storm, the queen of everything. Give Storm her hair back. Let's move on. Rogue. Oh my goodness. I love me some Rogue, and I specifically love Rogue in this series. X-Men the animated series had the best Rogue representation in any X-Men media outside of the comics. When I'm reading X-Men comics, that is the Rogue that I'm reading. The Rogue that you see in X-Men the animated series is the exact Rogue that I read in the comics. I love Rogue. I have no complaints of Rogue in this series. Just keep her being the strong powerhouse that she is. I don't want them to change anything about Rogue. Rogue is that aggressive fire spit personality, but southern hospitality, but she's not afraid to get active. Rogue is not afraid to swing first. She's more aggressive than Wolverine. Like, Rogue gets down, and that's the type of Rogue energy I want to see in X-Men 97. Do not change anything about her character, because I love Rogue. Now, I will say, as far as Rogue's appearance, where's her ass? What's going on? Why did y'all get rid of Rogue's booty? Oh no. Oh no, Rogue, let's get back on the operation table. We need a BBL ASAP. I need you guys to bring back Rogue's ass. And here's the thing. This is not a perverted situation, but Rogue's ass makes sense to her character because she is a southern girl. The girl grew up in Kentucky. You know, southern girls, they thick because they eat a lot and the food goes into the right places. So Rogue being the thick bitch, that's the type of girl we want to see in the animated series. They had her be a thick bitch in the original runoff. That's the type of Rogue we want to see in X-Men 97. Why did y'all nerf Rogue's ass? No. No, bring Rogue her ass back. We need that back. Rogue and Gambit are literally my #1 favorite superhero couple ever out of any superhero team. I love Rogue and Gambit's relationship. So, within this series, I want to see their relationship grow. I want to see their relationship mature. Gambit's being serious, Rogue is being serious. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm just tired of Scott and Jean. You know, I need another relationship to be in the forefront. So please allow Rogue and Gambit to have their relationship be in the forefront, because we deserve diversity in terms of other X-Men team members finding true, authentic love. So I am so here for Gambit's and Rogue's relationship being in the limelight because it's deserved. I will always stand for Gambit and Rogue. Let's move on. Now, speaking of Gambit, let's just go into my boy. First of all, it's the fact that I did all 3 of my faves back to back. I did Rogue, I did Storm, and now I'm talking about Gambit. I did that on purpose because I told y'all they're like my top 5 favorite X-Men, Nightcrawler and Emma Frost, completing the list. I need Gambit to have all the screen time. I want Gambit to be the star of the series. I want Gambit to be in the forefront. I want the series to be about Gambit. And the reason why I'm saying this is because this is the only series where Gambit is actually a hero. In X-Men Evolution, they had him working for Magneto. He was part of the Acolytes. In Wolverine and the X-Men, they had him working for the government. He was going on secret missions on behalf of Senator Kelly to damage the community. Even in the X-Men films, Gambit, I don't know what the they did with Gambit. He was just in a different timeline, and I was just like, why did y'all decide to introduce him in a past timeline regarding Wolverine? That was so stupid. This show is the only show that actually has Gambit as a hero, and I don't understand why everybody else wants Gambit to be a villain so bad. Gambit is a hero, so let this boy be a hero. My expectations for Gambit, as I said with Bishop and as I said with Storm, get creative with Gambit's powers. When I saw him charge Wolverine claws up, I'm like, yes, this is what I want to see. I want y'all to get extremely creative with his powers. Anytime that I hear an explosion when the X-Men are battling, I want to automatically think, oh, that was Gambit. That's how I want Gambit's powers to be shown. I want Gambit to have as much screen time as possible because he is a star. He is the moment. He is the icon. He is the legend. Give Gambit his thing. Also, showcase Gambit's other skills. Of course, showcase his fighting style because Gambit knows how to fight. Like, he get down. Also, showcase Gambit being a thief. You know, maybe he can go on a secret mission and steal from Mr. Sinister, or steal something from a government agency, or steal something from one of the bigoted groups like the Friends of Humanity or the Purifiers, or he can steal something from Trask Industries. Like, play into Gambit being like a secret agent because he got the skills to do it. He's a well-known thief. He has lockpicks. He's very sneaky. Play on that. And as I said earlier, I would love to see duo missions with Storm and Gambit because 1, both of them know how to fight. 2, both of them know how to steal. 3, both of them have lockpicks. 4, they have a history. Storm is the reason why Gambit is a part of the X-Men team. Give us a Storm and Gambit relationship. Maybe Gambit can go to Storm to vent about his relationship with Rogue. Maybe Storm can go to Gambit to vent about internal conflicts that she's dealing with. You know, like, play on the Storm and Gambit's working relationship. We need to see that translate on screen. And I have a slight feeling that they're going to play into that because just me re-examining the trailer, when Scott says to me, my X-Men, you know, Rogue, she's carrying Beast and she's carrying somebody else. I think it was Wolverine because they can't fly. But Storm is carrying Gambit. And I was like, why did they have Storm carry Gambit for that particular scene? I'm just saying. It all makes sense. But yes, that's my expectation for Gambit. I want him to be the star of the show. Hey, Wolverine. Now, before I even talk about Wolverine, let me read the X-Men 97's rating. According to Disney Plus, X-Men 97 is rated TV 14. It says, parents strongly caution. This program contains material that parents will find unsuitable for children under the age of 14. Parents are strongly urged to exercise greater care in monitoring this program and are cautioned against letting children under the age of 14 watch unattended. This program contains one or more of the following: intense violence, intense sexual situations, strong coarse language, or intense suggestive dialogue. So this ain't finna be no kiddie show. This is gonna be an actual X-Men show. Here for it. Now, the reason why I wanted to read the rating system regarding X-Men 97 was because of Wolverine. This is on Disney Plus. This is not on television, okay? They have the license to do whatever they want to do with this animated show. So with that being said, my expectations for Wolverine, I want him stabbing niggas. I don't want Wolverine slicing up guns. I don't want Wolverine slicing up walls. I want Wolverine slicing up people. Let Wolverine be violent. If he gotta kill somebody, let him kill. If he gotta slice somebody's arm off, slice somebody's leg off, let him do it. I want Wolverine to be stabbing people left and right. I'm sorry. Y'all gave him claws for a reason. Give him the opportunity to actually use them. When Young Justice came to HBO Max, formerly HBO Max, now it's known as Max, they took the opportunity to get violent. They really got violent. Nets was cracking. People were getting burned. People was getting stabbed. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm here for this. Okay, this ain't no regular animated series. Oh no, we getting violent in this show. So I want the same thing for X-Men 97. Let Wolverine get violent. My other expectations for Wolverine, I need him to fall back. I need Wolverine to fall all the way back. I don't need this show to be centered around Wolverine. Wolverine is arguably one of the most recognizable and most popular characters from the X-Men. Why? Because of his claws. Y'all know how we was in elementary school. You put pencils in between your knuckles pretending that you were Wolverine. We all used to do it. Wolverine is legit one of the most popular characters of the X-Men. Always gonna give him credit for that. But with that being said, this is just my opinion. Wolverine is so overly saturated. We understand his popularity, but he is not the only X-Men. He is not. Y'all always put Wolverine in the forefront in every single X-Men media. And I'm like, why? Why? We get it. Wolverine to the X-Men is like Superman to the Justice League. Popular, right? But damn, there are other X-Men characters, and there are other X-Men characters that have a way more interesting storyline than Wolverine. I don't need to see Wolverine in every damn thing, and I don't need to see Wolverine having a lot of screen time. I do not need to see it. I need Wolverine to be the background character. I just need Wolverine to be called on when it's time to get active, when it's time to stab niggas, when it's time to fight. That's when I need Wolverine to be. Other than that, have him on his motorcycle smoking his cigars. I don't need Wolverine to be given so much screen time. Just allow his characters to fall back just a little. Let Gambit get some screen time. Let Rogue get the screen time. Let Storm get the screen time. Let Scott get the screen time. Wolverine needs to fall back. I don't want to see any solo episodes dedicated to Wolverine. Y'all been there, done that. We got Alpha Flight. We got Weapon X. We are tired of Wolverine's history. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Please let it go. I'm sorry. I don't need to be watching another series where it's all about Wolverine, and I'm just like, I know this stuff already. I know this stuff. I know his history between Sabretooth. I know his history between Lady Deathstrike. I know his history between the Weapon X. I know his history with him working with Captain America. I know Wolverine's history. I know his history with him working with the Alpha Flight and him working with Department H. I know it. We tired. We real deal tired. Okay, how much more of Wolverine's past can y'all dive into? We've seen it. We've seen it in every single X-Men media, especially with the X-Men films. I don't want to see it in the show. I really do not. Wolverine, love you, appreciate you, I respect you. Fall back. Go smoke your cigars off screen somewhere. Let other characters get more shine. All right, next character is Beast. Beast is literally my least favorite X-Men. I have no expectations for Beast. Beast. Let's move on. Now, as far as potential storylines that I would like to see on the X-Men, here's the thing. X-Men animated series, they did an amazing job picking stories from the comics and translating it on screen. Like, they touched on a lot. If you go back and watch X-Men animated series, 70, 80, possibly 90% of the episodes you see are based on actual storylines that popped off in the comics. So they did a good job covering that. I do want the writers to not rely on the comics storyline so heavily. Like, I do want you guys to get a little bit creative, rely on the elements, but do not rely on the actual storyline. You know, you can pick one or two storylines to showcase on this show, but don't have it be a replication of this storyline, that storyline, that storyline. Do a reimagining of it. So I'm very interested to see which type of direction they're going to go with the X-Men. One thing that I would like to see, because they keep confirming that Mr. Sinister is going to be the primary X-Men villain, right? And they're going to introduce Madeline Pryor. So we're going to have Mr. Sinister and we're going to have the Madeline Pryor. And I already read the X-Men rating system as far as like intense violence. Can we do the Mutant Massacre storyline? Because why not? This is the perfect opportunity to do it. Why not? Now, for those who do not know, the Mutant Massacre storyline is legit one of the most emotionally challenging, goriest situations that the X-Men have ever been through. That one storyline is like a key element into so many jumping points of the X-Men in the course of the comics. That was the one event that it was like, oh wow, this event started an offspring to so many other situations involving the X-Men. Mr. Sinister, he's a geneticist, right? And he experiments on mutants. And apparently, the Morlocks, who are a mutant community that live in the New York tunnels, they're mutants, and it's really visible that they are mutants. Like, for instance, with Scott and Jean, they're mutants, but they look like human beings. The Morlocks, they're mutants, but they definitely look like mutants. They look like creatures. They look like monsters. They look like aliens. That's how they look. Apparently, the origins of the Morlocks stem from Mr. Sinister testing on mutants. And Mr. Sinister considers the Morlocks to be like wasted potential and like failed test subjects. So he hires a group of mercenaries. One of the mercenaries is very well known, Sabretooth. He hires a group of mercenaries known as the Marauders, and their main mission is to go into the Morlock tunnels and assassinate every single member of the Morlocks. It's so senseless, it's so emotionally traumatizing, it's so violent, and it's so dramatic. So the X-Men, they caught wind of what was going on because one of the Morlocks warned them. And so when the X-Men got down there, they was like, oh, the Marauders are these a different type of villains. They fighting to kill. And you know, the Marauders, they're thinking, oh, the X-Men, they're superheroes. They're not going to resort to killing. But little did they know, of course, Wolverine was stabbing niggas, but Colossus, he broke one of their members' necks. Like, oh yeah, the X-Men, they get down like that, you know? Speaking of the Morlocks, Storm stabbed Callisto in the heart. Directly in the heart, like, because people assume that because the X-Men are heroes and they complete missions without being violent, that they won't take it there. Oh no, the X-Men take it there. So the Marauders, they really brought that energy of X-Men, y'all gotta work if y'all think y'all gonna win this battle. So I love the Marauders because they're like big, badass bullies, and they're so violent and they're so tough, and they're a challenge for the X-Men because the X-Men, they are a powerful group of mutants. Storm, Omega level. Jean, Omega level. Rogue, strong as hell, not afraid to get active. Wolverine, violent as hell, not afraid to get active. Gambit, Bishop, very unique set of powers. Sky, you take off his glasses, it's hell. So the Marauders were really like a challenge to the X-Men, and I would love to see that play out on screen. In the original X-Men, the animated series, Mr. Sinister's gang was known as the Nasty Boys. The Nasty Boys are so whack. Get rid of them. I don't want to see the Nasty Boys. I want to see the Marauders. Also, I want to see a return to the X Factor. Because we got an episode, it was the Iceman episode. For those who may not know, the X Factor, they are a mutant team, but they are strictly about investigating certain situations that are not privy to the public. They are a government funded team, but they work off the books. And then when you see them in public, people don't know that they're mutants, but they really are mutants, but they conceal it in order to complete whatever mission they got going on. I would love for the X Factor to make another appearance. Forge is on that team, Havoc, Polaris. They had Quicksilver be a part of the team in the original series. I would love to see Quicksilver again. Guido, who is Strong Guy, and Wolfsbane. I would just love to see another X Factor plot with that team and the X-Men team. Maybe not them fighting again, but probably with them working together. Or maybe they can have an episode where, I don't know, Rogue and Gambit, they go to the X Factor investigations because they gotta find out something. With the audience seeing the working dynamics of the X Factor, maybe the X Factor can get their own spin-off episode, and maybe that can lead off into their own spin-off series with the X Factor. I would love to see that. You know, just wishful thinking. I would love to see the X Factor making another appearance again. Those are my potential storylines for the season. Now, let's get into the bull. Ever since the X-Men 97 trailer came out, there are a lot of people, big mouth people, running their mouths and just talking. They feel like the X-Men are promoting a woke agenda. Various white people have taken the word woke and transformed the definition to fit their internal racism. Now, I'm pretty sure you may ask, well, where are they getting that from? Because of people like Donald Trump? Because of the Florida governor, Ron DeSantis? Because of the people that are on Fox News? And because of the Make America Great Again community? They are associating the word woke to anything dealing with black people or anything dealing with a marginalized group. That's what their definition of woke means. Take it from somebody that is a black person that went to a HBCU, that was born and raised in Miami, Florida. Let me break it down to what the definition of woke is. If somebody says the term stay woke, the definition of the word woke literally means look at the bigger picture. For example, you at your job, right? And you see one of the employees, they're doing every single thing that their boss asked them to do. Hey, I see that you got through these files. Do you mind doing these files? Oh yeah, I'll do it. Do you mind staying late? No problem. Do you mind coming in on the weekends? No problem. Do you mind coming in on your day off? No problem. They are just constantly being a yes man to their boss. In that situation, you would snatch that one employee to the side and be like, what the f are you doing? You're being used. You're being used. You're not seeing a bonus on your check. You're saying yes to doing extra work that you are not getting paid to do. And little do you understand, whether you're here or whether you're not here, this multi-million-dollar company is still going to make millions with or without your work. Stay woke. Y'all see what I'm talking about? Woke means look at the bigger picture. It has nothing to do with an ethnic group, a marginalized group, a group of black people. It literally means look at the bigger picture. So for all these critics of X-Men 97, they said, oh, they're trying to push a woke agenda. What the f? Because what are you talking about? What are you talking about? The X-Men have always been an allegory to fighting for those that are in a marginalized group, because the X-Men are a part of that marginalized group. They are mutants and they are being discriminated against because they are mutants and because they are different. I'm confused. I'm really confused. And this isn't anything new. I understand that you guys are not comic book readers. I get that. But this isn't anything new. If you look at any form of X-Men media, the movies, the television shows, or if you read the comics, that is literally the X-Men. There's always examples of the X-Men fighting against a racist group of people, fighting against the government, fighting against whomever, just to prove that they have human rights as well. Just because we have superpowers does not give you the authority to be racist to us and kill us. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? What woke agenda? What the f are you niggas talking about? Now, if you want to keep it in the realm of animated shows, let me provide an example. X-Men, the animated series.
We don't want mutant lovers in our town, so we're moving you out. Get the mutant! Fire on that mutant, full energy! Get his filth away from her! They're evil, all of them! Yes!
X-Men, Evolution.
But I was there long enough to learn about mutant scum like you. You poison our gene pool and upset the natural balance of power.
Ends the day as a national paranoia grips the country. Neighbor versus neighbor, friend against friend. Entire families afraid to even step outside their doors for fear of the mutant menace.
Take you now to Washington, where a congressional hearing is underway on the mutant menace.
And I say to you that these mutants are concealed weapons of the most dangerous sort.
We are mutants, and this witch hunt is going to stop now.
Wolverine and the X-Men.
You're all under arrest.
On what charge?
Harboring a fugitive mutant.
You have no right to do this! The mutant epidemic grows larger by the day. Defending ourselves against these creatures.
What are we discussing here? What really are we discussing here? I saw a tweet, and of course this tweet got deleted because the X-Men Twitter community, we lit his ass up. This fool gonna say, the X-Men fight giant robots and aliens, not more bigotry. It's a shame that we've been adopted by idiots leftists who think the only X-Men story that exists is God loves, man kills, which is a comic, by the way. Don't give a about the characters at all. First of all, who created those robots? The robots that you're referring to, who created those robots? Those robots that he's referring to are Sentinels, and the Sentinels are created by mutant races. Their whole purpose of creating those robots is to eliminate the mutant community. Those robots have sensors to detect who is a mutant, and their main objective is to capture or kill. What the are you niggas talking about? You really cannot make this up. At this point, us X-Men fans, we need to start gatekeeping the X-Men because I can only cuss people out so much. If you do not understand what the X-Men fight for, stay the over there with the Avengers. Stay the over there with the Justice League. Do not come over here with that bullshit, okay? Because y'all don't know what the y'all are talking about.
You're upset that the X-Men have gone woke and not that they nerfed Rogue and turned that peach into a pancake. Get your priorities together. The X-Men have always stood as an allegory for human rights issues, including discrimination against race, religion, and queerness. Friend, where have you been? Because that is super not new. Did you think they were fighting giant robots just because? Baby, where do you think the Sentinels came from? Why do you think they were attacking the X-Men in the first place? It's because the mutants were different, and because they were different, they were labeled as dangerous and not deserving of compassion or humanity. You know, discrimination. The X-Men have not gone woke. They never went to sleep. They've been woke and queer and polyamorous. Did you think those comments you would see about Jean, Logan, and Wolverine were just jokes? That there is a throuple. They had joint bedrooms and they all smash each other. Morph is a shape-shifting mutant that can change their appearance at will. Why do you think that this new cartoon has gone woke when this has been Morph in the comics for the past several years? This does not even scratch the surface. Wait till you hear about Nightcrawler's two moms. So if you were a fan of the X-Men as a child, but now you've got a genuine issue with the reboot going woke, I just want you to know, this is who you grew up to be. You're a bigot and not a very smart or good person. I feel like you let your inner child down and you should really sit with that. At the end of the day, if you simply cannot handle media being inclusive or tackling social justice issues, have you considered growing the fuck up?
Those are my expectations for X-Men 97, the series. I cannot wait for March 20th to get here. Yes, I will be doing episode reviews. I cannot wait. I've been asking for an X-Men animated series on Twitter for the longest, and my prayers and barking have finally been answered. I can't wait for the series, and shout out to us X-Men fans all across the internet and all across the universe, because it's our time, dog. It's our time. I appreciate you guys for making it all the way to the end of this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and keep up with me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The links are in the description box below, and I will see you on the next episode.